Hey guys, welcome to the Safe Continue podcast. My name's Ryan Robinson. That's Shanae Howard.
Hi.
There's Tom Shelby.
Hello.
Every week we get together and we talk about video games and lots of other things. Also, this week, yesterday was Tom's birthday. So happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you. Last week was our 3-year and we forgot all about it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
To be fair,
Well, time is a flat circle, Tom.
Sure.
So how did you spend your birthday?
Mostly just with my sister's family, my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they feed you they didn't feed you a steak?
No, well, I had a very big breakfast with them, which was nice.
Yeah.
did you eat lots of bacon?
Did some shopping. I ate a little bit of bacon.
Yeah.
You should eat more.
Did some shopping.
Yeah. You got that sweet keyboard right there.
Yeah, I got a sweet keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
With clickety clacks.
Yeah, and that's really about it.
Did the kids get you anything?
No, my kids have no money. They're penniless.
Mm-hmm.
They could make you something, like macaroni art.
I wouldn't want it.
I'm not saying you want it, but they should do it.
Okay.
It shows their appreciation for father.
I'm sure that they, at the very least they said happy birthday, Daddy.
They did.
Yeah.
Let's give a cheer for father.
Yeah. As he begins one more year in the death march that is life.
Sure.
Have you?
I would love for them to say that to you.
I don't think they're quite at the age of existential crisis yet.
I feel like Bailey could get it.
Yeah.
Have you spent the week playing any video games at all, Thomas?
Quite a bit, actually.
Let's hear about it.
Been playing a little bit of Overwatch here or there.
Yeah, how's that been going for you? Are you enjoying yourself?
I am, but I feel like the game really wants you to feel good about yourself.
It does. That game is very
And
congratulatory. In its
It feels
presentation.
like belittling almost, you know?
What do you mean?
It's just like,
You
I
feel
don't
like they're
know,
patronizing
man.
you a little bit?
Yeah, I got a 27 kill streak, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I talked to my daughter, and she's like, oh, I frequently get in the 30s. I'm like, okay, I guess it's not that good. And I started looking into it. Did you know kill streaks in that game, if your bullet hits somebody...
As long as you helped. As long as
like,
you helped.
what the fuck is that, you know?
It's funny because I've had that thought, right?
Yeah, annoying.
I've had that thought, but at the same time,
Just
Like,
take your
when I
wins
s-
where you can get them.
when I see my name come up and like I hear the noise and
Yeah.
I see the number go up, I still feel good.
Don't get me wrong, like, my kills per minute are still pretty good.
Yeah.
But, like, and I do think it's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that,
Yeah.
you know?
I think it's definitely to encourage more team play
Yeah.
than like comparative to other shooters.
I think it's to make you feel good so you keep playing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Perhaps both are true.
both.
Yeah. And then I've been playing a fuck ton of Bayonetta.
Yeah. Before you talk about the Bayonetta, who did you play as the most in Overwatch?
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make any widows?
Yes, many.
I think that game has 3 snipers at this point.
Well, there's that one, and then there's the healer one, which when I'm playing the support class, I'm playing the healer sniper.
Yeah.
I can't remember that one's name.
Anna.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for tank, I've been playing Diva.
Yeah. Have you seen a lot of those Hammond running around?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which I played around with Hammond. I can't get the hang of them. I don't understand how you control accurately that wrecking ball maneuver.
Yeah.
You know? But people are doing it, man.
Yeah.
People are fucking shit up.
So tell us about Bayonetta. This is you revisiting that game, right?
Well, yeah. I've never beat Bayonetta completely.
Okay.
But, you know, I got super into Nier Automata this year. And I wanted more. I know Bayonetta is not that, but I know that
You
it's...
wanted more fast-paced Japanese action.
Well, yeah, the combat is quite similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been scratching that itch, and that kind of dives into what I want to talk about this week. So
Cool.
why don't you guys talk about what you've been playing?
What have you been playing, Ryan?
A shitload of Mafia 3. Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Man, that game makes me feel so cool. Like like last night or the night before, I ran up on an enemy hideout, and I kicked the door open with my shotgun in my hand, and I was like chick chick, and I was like kablow, and he flew backwards, and I felt so fucking powerful.
Fuck yeah.
It was cool, man. It was that game is really something. And you know what? The more I play it,
The more you realize people who say video games make people violent are just correct.
Well, partially. But the more I play it, the more my criticisms of that game and the criticisms that I've heard echoed about that game kind of seem to kind of melt away into the background for me.
That's good.
Because that game is just, it's fun to play. The story is awesome. All the acting is good. Yeah, I just love that game a lot.
We've both been playing Dave Fenoy games.
Yeah. Hi, Dave. Except, like, in the part of the game I'm at, like, he's not so... At one point, he's a mission giver.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But now he only exists in the radio.
Do you call him Dave in the game?
No, his name is not Dave. He's known as the voice in that game.
I'm saying, but do you call him Dave in your head?
No, I don't. I'm not a psychopath.
Mr.
But,
Fenoy. Mr. Fenoy.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I jumped back into Monster Hunter the other night, and it's really cool remembering how fun that game is and how good it feels. And
Monster Hunter World?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny that you asked, because I've been seeing a lot of ads for Generations Ultimate, and
It's doing real well.
yeah, and because every time they release a new Monster Hunter, they do a bunch of videos highlighting a different weapon, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know, maybe you need to get a Switch to pick that game up.
I mean, it's old. You played Monster Hunter Generations.
Yeah.
It's that with more shit.
I like more shit though.
It's interesting because the game is obviously in many ways inferior to World,
Yeah.
but also in many ways superior.
There's something to it.
There's way more monsters to hunt.
It's so funny because that game, like, even with all the hours that I put into Monster Hunter World,
yeah.
which is over 200 at this point, there's still something very attractive about Monster Hunter Generations. Like, it's not just how many monsters there are. There's something to it. I don't know.
Well, I think there's also that old school Monster Hunter mentality. It's more hardcore,
Yeah.
like there's more to it.
And when that makes me wonder if I'm subconsciously one of those guys.
Yeah.
One of those.
I mean, I certainly
guys.
am.
And I got to play quite a bit of the Call of Duty
Oh yeah.
Black Ops 4 Blackout.
I like your little video.
Thank you. It's good. It's real good.
That's what I hear.
And it is like, if I were to be really concise about my description of it, like, take Battlegrounds, polish it up real good, put first person only, and you got it.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like
But you have like the whole perk system thing too, though.
Yeah.
Which I imagine can change it up quite a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, those perks. So I don't know if you remember me saying this, but they're like, instead of like having them when you start, like they're items that you pick up now.
As it should be. Yeah.
And it's really cool because I haven't played a Call of Duty game like on like a multiplayer aspect since Modern Warfare 1. And so I don't know what any of these new perks are. I don't know what any of them mean. And I barely remember any of the old ones. So I picked them up, and I'll just be like, well, I hope this one is cool, because I'm too like scared to go into the inventory and read it.
Yeah.
But it is cool. It adds even more kind of randomness and strategy to it. So it's
Also
neat.
different than Battlegrounds. And even Fortnite is like the way that you can manage your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it very quickly on the fly.
Yeah.
And I think for a game like that, that's important.
And it's like everything is like streamlined really well.
Like you can do it without going into menus.
Yeah. The funny thing is that one of the things that I noticed right away is that, again, I don't know if this is a thing in later Call of Duty games, but there are drivable vehicles in the game.
Yeah.
And
Not so much in the like in campaigns.
in campaign,
sure,
yeah, but like I came across an ATV
and
and
boats.
and a boat, and I was like, this is cool.
Pretty sure there's helicopters too.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I saw someone driving by in like a really one of those, I don't know what those army trucks are called, but one of those.
Yeah.
Humvee.
No. And yeah, it's really fun. The match, it's fast paced, and but the whole thing, it really threw me off. Is I've never played Call of Duty on a map that large before,
Yeah.
and like having a Call of Duty that just like, because the Call of Duty from like I was always known as like you get your loadout, you go into the match, you just kind of just go. And like you're sprinting around nonstop, and like there's always a guy like in your face like every 5 seconds.
Right.
But now like with all these like there's all those pockets of like just silence, like as it happens in battle royale games.
Yeah, it's not as intimate as Call of Duty typically is.
Yeah, and like the dealing with bullet drop for the first time in Call of Duty was kind of crazy. But yeah, great stuff. And I think that I'm still on my quest to just finish the games that I have now before buying new ones. And I feel like every week that passes, I'm doing better at that.
Not me.
Like I see a game, I'm like, it is on sale. I could buy it. No, we just finish these games. What about you, Shanae? What have you been up to? How's that Kingdom Hearts coming along?
Finished it.
No more Kingdom Hearts?
Not until 3.
I mean, I'm still listening to some Kingdom Hearts podcasts, so it's still there.
Yeah.
You're like an addict.
Yeah. You need more Goofy.
In the last one I played is Dream Dot Distance, and there's the Three Musketeers Mickey movie.
Mm-hmm.
I never watched it.
I remember that.
I never watched it, but Goofy's one of
Three
the
Musketeers.
Yeah, that's what they were called, Three Musketeers, even though only one of them was a mouse.
But Goofy does the Goofy scream a couple times in that game, and it made me think of you two.
Nice.
Mm.
It is my favorite thing about Goofy.
A lot of the hooey.
Yeah, he did it like 3 times. Yeah, it was. I was pretty happy about it.
If I'm not too lazy, I'll insert that right here.
I guess we'll find out later this week. Have you played anything that isn't Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, I have. But just to close out on Kingdom Hearts,
Okay.
I feel like I have a much better grasp on the story, replaying and doing all these and preparing for 3.
That's good.
And at some things, I just like facts about like the games or the series I realize are just my own headcanon.
Sure.
That I just assumed was correct because it fit.
I'm sure you're not alone in that.
No, I'm not. No, not in the least bit. And I realize how wrong I am and how little I don't know about things. So
How will you know about things?
Yeah. How far removed are we from the last Kingdom Hearts game?
I don't know. But I also played Donut County or Country?
County.
Yeah, the Annapurna game.
I wish it was country. It might be longer then.
Yeah. Tommy said he talked about it last week. I was obviously not here, and I didn't realize that. And I bought it and played it on my phone, and it was fun. It was short, but it was fun.
It's cute.
Yeah. And then I was telling him one of Birdo's favorite animals is raccoons. So anytime, particularly the raccoon was doing something funny or cute, I showed him.
I'll say this about that game. It did genuinely make me laugh more than once.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the text messages in there are really funny. I like Mira. I like just how annoyed she is.
Yeah. But she didn't have to break his thing, though. That bitch.
I would have just stolen it.
Sure.
It was a cool copter.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but did you ever get around to playing Florence?
Yes, I did.
I like showing people that game.
And then also the one on Switch, Gorgamora or whatever. Gorogoa.
Yeah.
It's on everything.
Yeah, I played that too.
That's one of those games that makes my brain feel funny when I look at it, but I like it.
Yeah, when I downloaded the Donut County, I didn't realize it was an Annapurna game. And then when I saw the logo on there, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's published, but yeah, they've been publishing a lot of good stuff, man.
I was like, oh, I didn't know this. Cool. So I immediately had good expectations for the game, and then when I beat it, like we both said, it's about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, cool.
Well, they're also publishing Watam, I'm not sure how you say it.
Waddle.
And
Autumn just
that
sounds
should be
fun.
interesting.
More fun to say.
Because that's actually the director of the original Katamari Damacy. So.
Nice.
There, I can't remember where, but there's like some kind of remaster of the first Katamari Damacy getting released somewhere, and I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
Reroll. It's coming out on Switch,
That's right.
and I imagine it'll probably make its way elsewhere.
Yeah. I just saw an ad for that Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition for PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, I don't know.
It gives you the same story with
Yeah. With,
a different style of gameplay.
yeah. So I think I'm okay
Yeah.
with my royal boys as they are.
Sure.
Thomas,
Sure.
what would you like to discuss with us this week?
Yeah. So, going off of Bayonetta,
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing it. I'm getting like real deep into it,
Mm-hmm.
and getting better at it. You know, I played it when it first came out, the majority of it, but didn't get real deep into the combat or the unlocks or anything like that. And now I'm really taking my time with it and really enjoying myself with it. So I start researching what are other games that are like this. Obviously there's Devil May Cry.
Right.
But outside of that, what other games are like this? And I come across a genre that I had never heard, titled character action. So that's what these games are known as. It's a small subgenre of hack and slash, beat 'em up 3D games,
Right.
sometimes 2D games. And I want to know what you guys think about it because, okay, so the genre, as far as I can tell, fast-paced combat
Right.
that has some depth to it, right? That you can, customize and be expressive through.
Right.
Typically with a ranking system in which, using health will give you a less, like using health pickups will decrease your score. Things like that. There's typically air launchers, things of that nature. So I'm like, is Nier Automata in this genre?
Yeah.
And I've seen some people online saying it is, some people saying it isn't. Then people also bring up Kingdom Hearts. Like, is Kingdom Hearts a character action game? I just want to get your guys' thoughts on it because, it's been around for a long time. It hasn't been named for very long, but it's been around for a long time.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of Souls-like, right?
Yeah.
When Demon Souls first came out, people probably just refer to it as an action RPG,
Right. Then after Dark Souls blew up.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Because I do think that these distinctions are necessary,
Yeah.
right? Playing Bayonetta, playing Devil May Cry is not the same as playing Enslaved Odyssey to the West
Right.
or God of War.
But they're both action games,
Right.
Well, Tom mentioned it before you got here, and I also am not familiar with the genre, so I went on a couple forums real fast, see what people said, and quite a few of them did say God of War is a character action game.
But a lot of them say it's not. You went on a few forums. I spent like a week looking into this stuff.
When I think about Bayonetta, and because before you said anything about character action or the name of the genre, as you were naming these games, I thought about how they are really specific kinds of action games.
Right. Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, and they're
Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden.
and it's funny because even on some level, you just look at the you could just look at the cover of the game or look at the character of the game and then maybe even see who's developing or publishing the game and be like, yeah, that's probably that.
And that's
game.
one thing that I don't always agree with is a lot of people are like, well, pretty much anything Platinum's done, and they're listing games like Wonderful 101 or Transformers Devastation. I'm like, well, yeah, there's some similarities
Yes.
there, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
but they're
And don't get me wrong, I don't think any genre should be so specific.
yeah.
But at the
Because then
same
it just
time,
gets too.
at the same
too
time,
much.
like I said, you play Bayonetta versus God of War or Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and those are very different games.
Yeah, because I don't think that necessarily the same person who likes Enslaved is gonna like
Right.
Metal Gear
The
Rising.
same as if you played Dark Souls versus Fable, those are very different games.
Yeah.
You know, they're both action RPGs, but they're completely different.
I don't know. A small tangent or whatever. I think God of War falls into that because what I was seeing is it seems like those like we talked about customization with me and Tom were talking about customization when it comes to combat, and you can button mash and make it through the game,
Right.
or you could learn the combos and tailor it to how you want to play it.
But it's nowhere near as in depth, and there's no penalty for using pickups or anything like that.
Well, if we're saying that, then obviously
I think that
Kingdom Hearts is not. Then
it seems to me like the what's the word? The distinction between like something like God of War and Devil May Cry is the incentivization to be more varied with your combat.
Yes.
Because God of War and also Kingdom Hearts, they don't give you any incentive to change that stuff up.
Kingdom Hearts does.
See, and that's what I'm getting at. You
Like,
know?
do they actually
But
do they
you
say
you don't get penalized for health, and apparently that's your line.
well do they does like at the end of every Kingdom Hearts section am I gonna get like an S rank for the combat like for like or like being like
See, but you don't in Automata, right? But I'm
Yeah.
just like where do these people draw the line when defining this genre? You know,
Who's the first? Do you know who came up with the term?
who came up with the term? I don't know, but most people credit Devil May Cry, the first Devil May Cry, as being where this spawned from.
Yeah, but I want to know who coined the term.
I don't know.
Where's that patent?
I mean, who coined Souls-like? You know, that should be easier to find out, but
yeah.
tell me, you know.
It's just that shit gets born in forums and then
Yeah.
it goes all over the place. I think that
But as far as ranking stuff, not every Kingdom Hearts game does that, but quite a few of them have parts where you get ranked.
Yeah.
Yes.
so what is my incentive in and I don't want to go too deep
Well,
into
I already say I don't think Kingdom Hearts is a character.
into a whole
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like you did say that it incentivizes you to vary up your attacks.
Because God of War does not.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to not pressing square, square, triangle.
Yeah.
You know.
Whereas
Besides just you feel cooler by doing cooler things.
Sure.
let me ask you this. In Nier Automata,
Yeah.
is there a moves list?
No.
Okay. In Bayonetta, is there a moves list?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's like a combo list.
Okay. Well, that's basically what I
Yeah.
meant.
And Metal Gear Rising is there?
I haven't played it, but I'd be surprised if there isn't.
It's been a while since I've played it, and I can't remember if there is.
But as far as incentivizing, so you get certain attacks that can play off of each other in quite a few of the games, like freezing, and then like if you hit it with fire, then like sometimes it does more damage or whatever. Not really in the early games, definitely in the later games, because Dream Drop Distance is the one that's freshest in my mind, and that one is the one that has where it's like S, A, B rank, stuff like that. Portions of it.
And obviously it's a very different game, right?
At Dream Drop Distance, yeah.
And obviously Nier Automata is a very different game. But
I mean, as
there's
far as
many similarities, you know?
As far as like the closest to a character action game, it would probably be either Birth by Sleep or Dream Drop Distance, but definitely not the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue those two could be a part of it, but I don't really think so or feel like that. But as far as incentivizing you to like vary it up, like you're so you have like command decks basically, and whether it be for moving around, jumping, doing slides and stuff like that, and then also your melee and magic that you have to scroll through and set in certain ways. So you are incentivized as you get better moves, I guess, to swap them out in your command decks.
Yeah. And I don't think that the issue with this subgenre is nearly as bad as it is with Souls-like.
Yeah.
You know, people call it, I mean, Project Cars 2 has been called a Souls-like. You know, like, they go nuts with it. I don't think character action is that bad, but I also don't think that the term has been widely accepted, you know.
And also, it's.
Oh, like
I mean, probably because it's not as widely accepted, but it's also not as trendy as a genre as
Sure.
Souls-like is.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while, if ever, we see someone say, this is the Bayonetta of this thing.
I don't think that'll ever happen because Bayonetta, you can point to something that came before, and Souls you can too, but not in the same way.
Question: in Bayonetta, I don't know how much of Bayonetta you've played.
A lot.
Okay. At any point in Bayonetta, do you have a friend with you helping you fight stuff?
Not that I have seen.
Okay.
Um,
Because I know in your Automata you do.
yeah.
And Devil May Cry, do you?
No, and I've played 1 through 4, and also DMC, and at no point.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I play
feel
So-
different characters, but
what is self-heal? Like, what if you self-heal in a game? Would that make automatically take it out of a character action game?
no, because I
because you self-heal in Bayonetta, you self-heal in Devil May Cry.
yeah.
Cause.
There's a penalty for it, Your score drops because of it. Your rank drops because of it.
Yeah.
The Deadpool game.
What about it?
I was like,
I never played it, so I couldn't say.
did you?
No
I did.
desire.
No,
that game looks like it sucks though.
No, a lot of elements are reminding me of Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like that could be.
On a surface level, based on never having played that game but only seeing it, I guess I could.
I mean,
could
I'm
see
not
how it
saying
would
that's a great game. I'm just saying.
No, and I think a lot of games in the action genre took from Devil May Cry. God of War included. But
It is its character action is certainly an important distinction because, like I said, I think one of the things, I think that it's different from, Devil May Cry is different from Enslaved, right? And I think that one of the things that maybe sets these games apart is the common thread that I think that they share, aside from their style of combat, is they're all pretty challenging.
mhm.
I think Devil May Cry is a pretty difficult game, especially Devil May Cry 3 is one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Sure.
I mean, Ninja Gaiden's difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bayonetta can be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played Medical Racing, so I don't know.
And I think that, that's one of those things that makes that distinction kind of important too, because with Souls, right, especially the people who have a hard on for being good at Dark Souls and kind of waving that around, I think that the hallmark of it, don't call it Souls it's too easy, you guys. and and that's the funny thing. And the funny thing about that is, I feel like in a lot of ways that has less to do with how the game is played and the style of combat, and more to do with just how hard that game is.
Yeah, and I don't think that
And-
difficulty should necessarily be tied
Right.
to genre in any way.
Right.
There's hard racing games and easy racing games that
Yeah.
are still racing games.
And
you
that
know?
and again, that's kind of the fucked up part about it too, right? Is this is the Dark Souls of racing games.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that Dark Souls should be a genre, but I digress.
Well, we've had other genres named after specific titles.
Yeah,
you
but,
know.
Metrovanias.
Metrovania?
Metro-
Man, I'd love to play a Metrovania.
Get all gussied up.
But also one of the things I have noticed about these kinds of games is they're not with few exceptions, right? With the exception of your Devil May Cries and high profile games like that. I feel like a lot of those games I kind of just find I happen upon these games a lot of the time.
Well, sure. Like Shanae she was looking at lists of what other people consider to be in the genre, and she brought up God Hand, and she didn't know what it was, and to be fair, not a lot of people know what it is.
Yeah.
But
I also don't know a lot of things.
yeah, but even
But I'm
Assault
learning.
Spy, most people haven't heard of.
Well, I was also looking at the Steam list, and
Yeah.
Fury was one of them. What was the one that you said looked bad?
I don't know.
I mentioned it, and you're
Oh,
like,
I see.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Is Lollipop Chainsaw a character action game?
I wouldn't consider it one, but who am I?
You're Tom.
I don't know. I mean, the combat's pretty slow in Lollipop Chainsaw. There's no launchers. I don't think it counts your combos. I don't remember. It's been too long.
Yeah,
man.
that's been
It's been a
about
long
like
time.
6 years removed from that game.
People bring up Killer is Dead, and Killer is Dead combat is pretty complex. It
Yeah.
is pretty hard. They
Yeah.
do count your combos.
Yeah.
No More Heroes 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But also like with this genre naming stuff, it like, especially with how much people are divided as to what fits and what doesn't, like it can get pretty muddy too, and
Well,
it gets harder to kind of discern like what is and isn't.
Yeah, and I think that like too many people, like with most genres, take the literal name of the genre
Yeah.
and go, well, I'm playing a character in this game and there's action, and I hate that shit.
But
Right?
I think people.
RPG, I mean, yeah, you play a role in many games,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's an RPG. You know?
Well, those are. I feel like that's also people who kind of split hairs just to have
Yeah.
semantic arguments with people.
So,
Like I said, I don't necessarily think a game needs to fit into a genre. Like, we're talking about Donut County. What genre is Donut County, really? But, like, I do see
not
some...
Katamari.
There is importance when you're trying to look for games that are similar,
Right.
you know?
Well, so we've talked about genres in the past, and I think I asked you at the time, what if you could create a genre, what would it be? What would
Yeah.
you call it? And I think we touched on it then.
And I
That
said physics racer. I did.
yeah, you did. But what happened in my mind is just is physics professors racing.
Sure.
But
Buffet simulator. What like I feel like this is.
what's
I feel like Metrovania wins.
Yeah. I'm gonna go exploring. You know, and
what's the genre type for like those Cookie Mama games and things like that?
That's a good question. I mean, Cooking Mama is weird because like there's some. I would call it almost a mini game collection,
yeah.
but
Well, like there's other games like it where they're like it's like where you're like at Diner Dash or like whatever the fuck else like they're on.
Dash is way different from Cooking Mama.
No,
And well, I think that's a whole other subgenre of like I think I want to say it's called time management. I don't know if that's. I feel like, but like.
there's a lot of like diner ones, like food
Yeah.
stand ones. They're all in the same vein.
Well, like when video game technology was less advanced than it is now, like it was easier to paint those genres like with very broad strokes, right? But like as people are able to do more and more things and put more and more shit into games, then you have to keep separating them.
And all the digital libraries, so you can just spend hours online in your own home looking at all of them.
Yeah, but then like at the same time like for example, Steam like allows people to like curate like what tags go on games, which is like
Character action's on there. There's
Yeah.
only like 16 games listed under that tab.
Yeah, I
but-
looked on the Steam.
Yeah.
All the
but then
listings.
but then you get into but like we were talking about before, like that some people believe there's character action, some people don't, and so then it becomes a matter of perspective,
Yeah,
and that shit just becomes relative.
Well,
and,
I defaulted to looking to the community, right? But
Yeah.
there's always problems with that because even
Yeah.
if you look at the FGC, some people consider Smash a fighting game, some people don't. You
Yeah.
know.
and then like and even with fighting games, and then you got subgenres within that, and
But to be fair, like if I'm looking for a fight, if I'm playing Street Fighter, I'm like, I want to find a game like Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers is not that.
Right.
You know.
and
it could be.
It could be, but it's not.
it's got Ryu in there.
It's becoming more and more like that as time goes on, but yeah,
It's also got Bayonetta, so now it's a character action game.
sure.
So I think I've mentioned this before, but I just want to bring up again. Because of Cookie Mama, they also had one called Baby Mama, and you got a baby.
They
that you
didn't
It's
have
not called
Baby
Baby
Mama.
Mama.
We already talked about this.
And we,
I crudely edited a picture and posted it on Instagram.
there's no game called Baby Mama. I know.
You got a creepy baby.
It's
They
Baby
could put a-
Sitter Mama, I think.
Yeah.
They could put a Wiimote in, and it was the worst.
I think that.
What genre does that fit under?
Metrovania.
Probably. No, I think that Metrovania leads to whatever genre Baby Mama is.
I feel like Symphony of the Night, that's Metrovania.
Yeah.
Alucard's a very pretty man.
He is actually everybody in that game is really pretty. Like
Yeah.
Richter's pretty.
Yeah.
I guess Dracula's pretty to somebody.
Sure.
There's probably some Atomies that fit under that genre.
Um,
Yeah, but speaking of like the tags and curating them, I normally when I look for new Atomies, I have 4 categories: female protagonist, Atomy, visual novel, and something else. But yeah, I have to look at all of them because like you're right, because everyone curates it and there's such a divide.
I feel like with Otomi, I would need to use a lot more tags to find what I want, because it seems like there's so many of them.
I don't. I feel like it's so specific.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's also a lot like and dating simulator. That's the other one, dating simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it. You would think that would help me find games I like, but I still have to keep expanding more and more my tags to find something in my interest.
I don't know. And for me, what it turned into is like, well, I'm gonna finish Bayonetta, then I'll play Bayonetta 2, then I'll play Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
You know, but
and then and I know that Steam does try to take based on whatever the games you were playing or tagged with, it'll be like, well, you like these games,
and it's done a good job of that.
Yeah.
But they're all games that I already knew were in this genre. I'm like,
Right.
show me something new.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of other games considered to be character action.
And I feel like the more, but at the same time, like you have that queue, like you have that what's it called, discovery queue. I don't know what it's called.
I don't do that unless they're giving me Steam cards.
Yeah. But I feel like that becomes more and more imprecise the larger your library gets, and
Oh yeah. When you have 500 games, that doesn't mean shit.
yeah. And
I don't know what you want. Here are games.
It's just funny because I've only got 100 and something games.
Yeah.
And I went into that queue, and the first 4 games it gave me were booby games.
Sure.
So,
Well, they just redid the whole adult game thing, you know. So if you opted in on that,
Also,
more of that stuff will pop up.
Also, you probably want the booby games.
Yeah, you probably do.
I mean, if I'm being real.
Well, it's funny you said. I was going through these and I'm like, I know it's like a total fan service game, but is the combat in Onitombara any good? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, who's
It's
this? I don't know.
only one way to find out.
I'm not gonna buy it unless I know.
Yeah.
You know?
How much does it cost?
I have no idea.
So there's so one of the kinds of games I like you guys have heard me talk about American Truck Simulator before.
No.
Well, I like American Truck
That
Simulator.
one is not a character action game.
And I was and one of the things that I like about American Truck Simulator and certain parts of Elite Dangerous is I like the idea of you give me something you give me items to take to another place and pay me, and then I do that over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't know and I was I want games like that. I want a lot of games like that.
Crazy Taxi.
Paperboy.
No, because not Paperboy.
But yes, Crazy Taxi.
Sure.
Not even so much Crazy Taxi either.
You're delivering people.
Crazy Taxi is closer to what I want.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying though.
And it's but I don't know that there's a genre for that, because what
Can't you turn No Man's Sky into that?
I mean, you can, I guess.
Can't you take goods and sell them elsewhere?
But what I want is not to have to turn another game into that.
Sure.
I want a game to just be
bartering
that.
games.
And I feel like that's the thing with such niche genres that maybe there just isn't a lot in these genres, you know.
And
Not yet.
Not yet, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and there's more and more, right? We've got Devil May Cry 5 coming, we've got Bayonetta 3 coming, but I don't want to depend on the same 2 franchises forever. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for both those games, but
Well, hopefully the hype around them inspires more games in that genre.
sure.
well, and that's the thing too, is with one of the things with character action games is you said want to have to keep relying on Devil May Cry or Bayonetta or whatever, and what if I don't really like the characters in this character action game, but it's also probably the best that I have right now.
Yeah.
Because there
are more than those 2 coming out. Just not,
those are the
not
easiest
a lot.
to find.
Yeah.
And there are many instances where I don't particularly care for Dante, but at the same time I was well, his action's pretty good, but I don't like this guy so much.
Yeah.
And You know, and
would like Darksiders fall in that category?
nah, because the Darksiders is really
It's been a hot minute since I played it. I know it was I know it's slower than both of those.
Well, it's funny you bring up Darksiders because I was thinking about it. You know, like when you're saying maybe those games will inspire more in that genre to come out, much like Souls has. You know, Zelda, like The Legend of Zelda, it took a long time for people to start copying that series. Okami is a game that does that. Darksiders is very much a game that does that.
Yeah.
You know, Darksiders is more like Zelda than it is like.
No, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because a lot of things are done, like a lot of the boss fight things were done in threes, like as far as like all that. No, you're right. I was just thinking about the general aesthetic instead of the actual gameplay.
You know what the thing is though, that like.
Oh yeah, I saw on the list Vanquish as well being a character action game. How do you feel about that?
I mean, the combat is very different, but
Yeah,
does character action mean that it has to be melee combat?
That's what I was gonna say.
Who's to say? I don't know.
You know,
The point is, Vanquish is not like the games that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, I like Vanquish, but that's not what I'm in the mood for right now, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's similar to those games. It's a platinum game, and I feel like people consider any platinum game to be character action when that's not the case.
well, with the way that so often people meld, you know, different gameplay elements into one game, you know, that kind of makes it harder to kind of.
Yeah.
You usually have to just choose like, is this an action game? Is this an RPG? Like which of the does it have? It has more of which elements, so I can put it there, right?
Which elements, like Bayonetta?
Yeah. Is she a witch?
She's a witch.
Huh. Is it?
She's a hair witch.
I used to get Bayonetta and Bullet Witch mixed up all the time.
It came out around the same time.
So.
Was Bullet Witch any good? I always saw it and I always wanted to get it.
We watched a video on Bullet Witch
Yeah.
and we were just like, we both like, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the cover have like a lot of orange on it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And like shoes in front of it?
Yeah.
We should play that game.
We should play some Bullet Witch.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's bad, we probably spent like $3 on it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you'll probably buy that. But
Now
that's
that
a
makes
indie
me
game.
wonder, is Gungrave a character action game?
Is that new Gungrave coming out?
Hell yeah.
I didn't play enough of the PS2 Gungrave. Like, I don't really remember much of it.
I've got both PS2 Gungraves.
Yeah.
And, see,
New Gungrave.
yeah, I never thought, this is literally the first time I thought about Gungrave in like 5 years. But see, like the second Gungrave though, you can choose, you know, the titular Gungrave or one of two other dudes.
I'm not familiar with the series.
Gungrave is a walking dead man who has a coffin full of weapons strapped to his back.
Nice. All right. I like this description.
They made an anime of it.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I've not I've seen.
The new one, I think, is a lady. I'm not positive though.
Lady Grave.
Now that you bring up as anime, I've seen it on like Crunchyroll or something like that, but I've never watched it.
I mean,
You're not missing much.
if I can tell you, based on what I've seen of the anime, just play the first game and you watch the anime.
But I have something I can watch anime on. I do
Same
not have
could be
something I can
said
watch.
for the Bayonetta anime.
There you go.
Like,
Play the anime.
yeah.
It's anime that
The stories are the same.
Video games is anime that you play.
It's weird because the stories are the same, but like things take place in different locations.
Yeah.
But it's the same story.
I feel like.
I also started watching Meteor Garden, which is just another version of Boys Over Flowers, which has been on like 8 different countries and redone like 1 billion times. I like small differences. I like seeing what they're adjusting.
Are those video games?
Are they character action animes?
They are. There is an anime. There is an anime. There is a manga. It's a character action manga.
Okay. Sure. You gotta do combos when you're reading that.
Based on what you played of Darksiders 2, would you still say that still closely resembles Zelda, The Legend of Zelda?
Yeah. Very much so. I mean, there are differences, right? The combat is very different from most Zelda games, although it does take Z-targeting, like lifts that straight from Zelda.
Yeah.
So much that it does letterboxing when you do it.
Loot feels the same.
But
I never played the 2. What was the story of that? Because I know the story of the
I
first
couldn't
one.
tell you.
Alright, so in Darksiders 2, Death is like, hey, I'm looking for my brother War because he got in a lot of trouble in the last game, and I need to help him out. And then all these other people are like, nah. And then so you gotta fight him.
But yeah, I mean the progression is very similar.
So you play as Death
Dungeons are
instead of
very
War?
similar.
Yeah, in the first game you play as War, the second game you play as Death, and apparently the third game you play as Fury, which I don't remember Fury in the Bible, but she's there.
Yeah, she ain't.
Yeah. Honestly, I like the idea that we have, these certain kind of these genres that are like more granular.
I think they're needed.
Because I think it makes it easier for me to cater to my own taste and not have to wade through so much stuff to find like exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I want a game like that, then I kind of know like what direction to go in.
Yeah. Like I think anime fighter is a bad name for that genre, but like
they all
it
look like
makes
anime.
sense though. You know.
Wait, hold on.
An anime fighter is a very distinct type of fighting game. You know.
Briefly
I don't know
explain
what
that
an
to
anime
me.
fighter is either.
Like a Blaze Blue or something like that.
Okay.
The combo systems are typically
Not a Street
much
Fighter.
more in depth than something like Street Fighter.
Right.
Yeah, they make no sense to me.
Fucking Persona, Ultimax, like you know, games like that. Just because it's anime doesn't mean it's an anime fighter. Like DBZ is not an anime fighter.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
confusing.
Yeah, neither is Street Fighter.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
Because they all look like anime.
I know that's why I say it's a bad name
Yeah.
for the genre, but like you know,
I mean,
there
like,
is a distinction there that is important.
It's one of
you
those.
know?
So it's so basically if a fighter game's controls don't make sense to me, it's an anime fighter. Got it.
So every game is
So
anime
every
fighter.
single game made.
No. No, I get the controls for like Street Fighter, Marvel, Tekken. I understand the scope of that.
Sure.
And it give me enough time, I will get those combos down. I could have 2 weeks with Blaze Blue and be just as good as I am today.
Which is weird because Blaze Blue has better tutorial than any of the games you just named.
Maybe I'd still only being told what to do.
Yeah. Sure.
I feel like people are using the term simulation too liberally lately.
Oh, dude, they always have. That's not a lately thing. That's always.
All right. Well, I feel like they've been using it too liberally always.
Yeah.
Because like I don't feel like everything is a simulation.
Yeah.
And like it also like simulate. And also I thought that simulation was kind of also a means of using of gauging how difficult that game probably is.
I
never thought about it that way, but
never did either.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you told me, like you tell me like you got your simulation racers and you got your arcade racers, like do I want to play Grid or do I want to play Need for Speed?
Right.
You know, and
I want to play Mario Kart.
I feel like that's the most simulation of simulation racers.
You know, I never brought it up on the show, but I played through Garfield Kart finally.
nice.
As John, as
As
per instructed.
As
Okay.
Garfield. As Garfield.
Not Odie?
No.
Why? You want to be the titular Garfield?
So
I just like you have to unlock most of the characters, and I started with Garfield. So if I play somebody else, the stats are going to be different. And I was Garfield.
What's the blue cat's name?
Normal.
Normal.
Nermans.
So
If I ever get a blue cat in their name,
did
I
you
know.
feel fulfilled after finishing that?
You know, it's one of those games where like you're playing it and you're like, this is bad, but I
Yeah.
want to keep playing it. You know,
I've
like
never thought that.
It was not good, but like something about it just kept me going.
I play a lot of garbage games. I know what that feels like.
Yeah, something about it just kept me there.
You know what's funny is speaking of garbage games, I literally was looking at games to maybe try in the future, and I saw a game that was actually a garbage truck simulator, and I was just like, sounds like it could be fun.
Rock.
I'm out. But when
Oh yeah, Charles Dutton
Yeah.
died in Alien 3.
But when I hear
For the
like
lead, he said.
when I hear like trucks, like truck driving simulator or that kind of like garbage man simulator versus like simulation racing, I definitely don't feel like the
Oh.
truck ones are that difficult.
What about Job Simulator?
That's called life.
It's just so funny that like you're the only person I've ever met who references rock, and that's so funny to me.
Yeah.
It's ROC.
There was a while where that was not on IMDb, and I was like, did I dream that show? Did I imagine that show's existence? Like, yeah.
It'd be funny if we like both had a shared delusion
Yeah.
about an early '90s sitcom.
Yeah. Rock. Make the thumbnail this week a picture of Rock.
Can I make it? Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that, and then maybe someone else will get there. I bet. You know how I bet we'll get it. I bet Rez will get it.
Sure.
I think Rez will get it.
Oh yeah.
You
He's
get it,
older than
Rez?
us.
You
He'll
get
know.
Yeah. I don't know. I find that, you know, with the more selective I get with like my purchases, like the more like I want to be sure that I'm gonna like something, and it's become harder for me because like
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you're selective.
it's become harder for me to like really properly gauge like really what like I'm going to enjoy.
See, I like rolling the dice on new games. Because, like, look, 90% of the time it's some garbage, like Ian's Eyes, right? But, like,
Yeah.
sometimes I find a game that I would never have played before.
I'm trying to remember
That's
how I
awesome,
came into possession
you
of
know?
that game.
Yeah. Probably
sale?
Humble or something like that.
Maybe something. But Ian's Eyes could have just as easily been good.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't.
Like El Shaddai, I love that game. I never would have played that game had I
Yeah.
just not bought it on a whim.
Now
you know?
I feel like we should talk about that next week.
Yeah.
About those times we rolled the dice and it paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was for every time that I did roll the dice and it paid off, there were like 10 times when it didn't.
Absolutely.
And it was heartbreaking. But that was also back when I could buy fewer games.
Now, see, back then I just convinced myself everything I bought was good. You know? Jersey Devil, like that was the only game I could afford for like 3 months. I was like, oh, this game's awesome, you know.
There was a game that came out on the Sega Genesis called Awesome Possum.
Sounds familiar.
And it was.
Was it awesome?
So it was like if Sonic the Hedgehog ran a bit slower and was like also like really, really, really into the environment, and like the whole thing, like in fact, like you know how like how Sonic the Hedgehog, like in the early '90s had Dr. Robotnik.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome Possum had Dr. Machino.
Okay.
Okay,
it's original. That's an original idea.
Yeah.
Don't sue.
And like between each level, you had like it gave you a quiz about like recycling or some shit like that. And
Did you feel them?
well, no, not always, because also at that time, like on TV, like they were all talking about recycling anyway, so I just regurgitated what I saw on TV. But I remember thinking to myself like, man, sure glad this was only a rental.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this other game that I bought for for the Sega Genesis that I just hated. Like I tried to do what you did and convince myself that I liked it.
Yeah.
Like I tried to find something redeeming about it, and I hated it so bad. But I had a friend who came over, and he played it and he was like, I was like, man, I hate this game. And he was like, what are you talking about? This game is great. And I ended up just giving it to him because I didn't want to see that game anymore.
I'm done with you.
Yeah.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
Good deed.
Yeah. Yeah. Shanae,
Yes.
closing thoughts.
Kingdom Hearts is not a character action game.
You have any closing thoughts about something that isn't Kingdom Hearts?
God of War could be argued to be a character action game.
Very good. Tommy.
Just if you've played anything similar to these games, like very similar to these games, specifically so, let me know.
Yeah.
Keep to yourself.
Also, I like games that copy God of War. Just want to say that.
Old God of War.
Old God of War, I mean. I've never played the new one.
Yeah.
I don't want any games that copy that one.
I played a little bit of the new one. I'm real excited to be an angry dad.
Yeah. I would say you should play Dante's Inferno if you haven't. It's a fun game.
Me or Tom?
Character action.
Oh, I beat it. I wouldn't consider it, but I guess Shanae probably would.
I
guess
feel like it is definitely more hack and slash.
I feel like the combat in that is almost the same as God of War.
In fact, one would argue identical. Except
You're a giant scythe, though.
and a cross.
So the weapons are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, it's fair point, guys. Go fuck yourself.
Thank you once again for listening and or watching the Save Continue podcast. As always, it's a pleasure to bring this show to you every week. My name is Ryan. That's Shanae.
Bye, guys.
That's Tom.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next week.